What's going on, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Brady and Dean here,
Yep.
coming at you guys with some DMX. RIP to the legend.
R.I.P. man.
And
Tough.
yeah, man, it's crazy, man. You didn't realize that he was struggling so hard, but put out some fire songs. So
I think everyone knew he said he had a crack problem since he was 14. We knew it was going to end sometime like this. So, but he will be remembered. You know, we all love he influenced a whole generation. So
just hype music, man. Just hype.
Man, we've lost a lot of OGs this last year and a half, 2 years, especially in the sports world.
Prince and David Bowie and Kobe.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Hank Aaron.
Hank, man. Jeez. Well, I guess with Hank, man, we'll jump into baseball if you want.
Yeah, man. Nice hat. I dig that.
Oh, thank you. O'Neal, bro.
Oh, bitching.
Always repping. Always repping.
All right, we got our Giants attire on today.
Yes, sir.
Be making our way out to the park soon.
Yeah.
Once Dean's back from Bama.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. So the Giants won yesterday, 3-1. Cueto pitched an absolute gem. Dean, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah. So the Giants pitching has been a lot better than I thought it would be because all the offseason talk was, you know, their batting has picked up, but at the expense of their pitching, right?
Yeah.
Now that is still true, but it's their bullpen, which is a big deal. But their starting pitching has been great. You know, not many guys go. Cueto was 1 out from going a complete game. You know, in this day and age, that's absolutely insane. You know, especially for a guy that's, I think he's 34. That's he does old savvy vet moves. I love Cueto, man. He does the rock when he's throwing. It takes him forever to. That would irritate the hell out of me if I was in the batter's box.
Yeah, I love the trolling, man. It just seems
like
he's just trying to mess with them.
But it's also like not many people have that good a balance. Like that's impressive to be able to do that. So,
oh yeah, man.
The rocking, like
just hanging out up there, still slinging it 91, 92 miles per hour.
And to be accurate, yeah. You're like rocking.
No, I'm impressed.
The Giants' bats looked pretty bad, but they got the runs that they needed, you know. Blackman getting kicked out of the game for arguing with the call was a huge, huge part of the game.
Yeah,
in the 7th or 8th inning. Because they missed at fielding, they didn't miss him, but they definitely missed his bat in the last 2 innings. Yaz continues to struggle. There's only about 4 guys in the Giants lineup that are doing great, like very good, like over 300, and then the other 4 guys, we're not including the pitcher, are all hitting like around 100. Belt, Yaz. So Posey's hitting well. Oh, Dickerson's hitting bad too. He's hitting very poorly. I can't think of the others right now, but Posey's been playing well. But they need more out of the other guys in the lineup that were so reliable last year. So
definitely, yeah. It's kind of crazy. I kind of want to just quickly go over like how much the game has changed. Me and Dean were pretty big fans, you know, throughout the mid 2000s to probably like 2018.
I'd say early 2000s.
Early 2000s to 2018, right? We took a little hiatus the last couple of years. Been focusing more on, you know, school and not baseball, football and basketball. But it's just remarkable how much the game has changed in these last few years since we've been away. You know, it's like players used to do complete games. Now it wasn't like it wasn't like a rare sight, because of analytics now. It's like if you face the same guy 3 times in a row, the percentage. So the first 2 times you face him, they bat, whatever they do, and then the third time, they say their chances of hitting you are significantly higher because they've grown accustomed to what you're throwing. So it's just like it's nuts to see that take over.
It makes sense, but like I do think that as we saw in the World Series with Blake Snell, I feel like baseball has become over reliant. And I feel like even though we're not that old, I feel like we're old heads in that sense where we like the statistics, but it's also like I get the switch, right? But some of the pitching stuff, I'm a little, I get the switching, fielding stuff, but
yeah.
Some guys, in your gut, this guy has it. Like the Mets. I was watching the Mets. I bet on the Mets. Horrible decision. DeGrom had the most tied the most strikeouts in his career. Actually, had the most. Sorry, he had 15. His I can't believe that. And he only threw like 95 pitches. Now the last 2 batters he faced in the 8th inning got deep. One hit a double, and one got a deep hit off of him. But if your bullpen is that. They get over reliant because if your bullpen is not good, you also have to take that into account. I feel like, that what you're saying is if you have a fantastic bullpen, But if your bullpen isn't that good, like in the World Series, man, like the Padres bullpen, that guy that they brought in, he gave up 6 runs in the postseason in his last 2 starts, that reliever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's different if you have a fantastic bullpen. But if you don't, I don't see why you still go along that, That's like that stat that baseball is now using. You're picking like fine hairs, if you have a great bullpen and great starters. If you don't have a great bullpen, you shouldn't be over-relying yourself on analytics. And bullpens decide World Series. So it's just like, if you don't trust your bullpen, let your starter go out there and freaking play the whole game. Like, I don't get that. So
yeah, and I feel like in those high pressure moments, just being around baseball and growing up watching it, a lot of these guys have, finishing that game in the World Series is like, that's what you live for, right? That's just you gotta be big enough for the moment, and we've seen players, live up to that scenario, and just when the manager pulls them out, it's just. It's kind of like it kind of deprives us of witnessing greatness.
And in the playoffs, this is another thing. Like in the playoffs, if you're a starter, like you know that you have time to catch your groove, right? Nerves aren't a huge factor. If you're in the bullpen, you come out in the 7th inning, all the pressure's on you.
Yeah. All
of the pressure. You don't get a couple hits to get in your groove. You're either in and you get killed or you get out, right?
That's savage. It's so savage.
I know. That's why there's a premium on great bullpen players, when great bullpen pitchers when, the latter part of the season, right before the trade deadline, because that's what wins you World Series. And if I'm in the playoffs, and I don't trust my bullpen, I'll run my starter out there the whole time. I would rather my starter give up a couple hits than the confidence can be crushed immediately in a bullpen player coming out in the 7th or 8th inning. Like, immediately. I would rather trust my starting pitcher if I don't fully trust my bullpen. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like when your starter goes that deep, it's almost like you're watching like a fight go, the distance. It's like that same, you're just watching this guy just battle it out.
It's different rounds. It's like, oh, he gave up a couple hits. Oh, that went to the other side. That round went to the other side. Yeah, it's like that. And it's, you know what? It's like when a reliever goes out there, the only thing I could really compare it to is like, basically, like if it's in the playoffs, like being a field goal kicker and having the game on the line. Because I know it's a couple more, you have a couple batters, but it's essentially the same thing. The greatest pitchers are not usually in your bullpen unless it's your closer, right? Your setup men are usually, the nomads of the league. They jump around. They couldn't be a starter. They couldn't be a closer. So the pressure on them is just monumental. So I'm not with the lack of trust now in today's game with your starting pitcher going longer than, what is it, 6 innings now? Is 6 innings is the thing? Like,
yeah,
I think that's ridiculous in a lot of cases,
Yeah. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see these kinds of scenarios play out in the postseason. I know right now the regular season you're not too concerned, and the Giants were able to pull out the win. So,
who do you? So the Giants. The Giants, I believe, are they 4-3 now? I believe they're 4-3.
Yeah, 4-3.
The Rockies Giants game just started. So who do you think's going to win this series? So it's a 3-game series, all in San Francisco. Who you feeling today?
I think Giants can pull it out.
I think Webb is their best pitcher, so I was looking up stats yesterday. Actually, not to talk too much about yesterday's game, but somebody said that was Cueto's best start since 2016, and I think they're right. Like, I haven't seen Cueto, man, he was killing it. But
I think
go ahead.
I think if Cueto, because now Gaussman is really stepping up, and he's been really impressive his first 2 starts. And then you got guys like Webb. I think if we can have Cueto, be the third guy in the rotation, as opposed to when, he was kind of asked to be the lead guy for quite a while throughout his career.
That 2016 run it was all on him.
Yeah, so I think
Bumgarner was washed out by then. So
I think if he can be a third guy, just a veteran in our rotation, and give us a few starts like that. I mean, I don't expect him to go 9 innings ever, but that was a great performance.
Kruk and Kuyp were saying it during the game, and it the way he pitches, how cool he is out there, it's like he's like chilling on a beach. He never looks flustered. He's just like one of the chillest guys out there. He's like, he doesn't take the game too seriously. He always looks like he's having fun. He's like a big kid out there. He looks serious, but he doesn't look stressed out there. Some pitchers, they you could see the emotion in their face. He's just like, I love how laid back he is. I think that's a big deal in a pitcher, staying calm, under
totally
high leverage situations. And it was 0-0 going into the 7th inning. So he had nothing. It was and he was pitching a gem. I can't think of anything more frustrating than, pitching a gem and your offense can't give you a freaking hit, a run,
No.
I thought it was going to be a DeGrom situation like today, for Cueto yesterday, and he was going to not get the win. But luckily the Giants got some freaking runs in the 8th inning. So 7th inning, sorry.
Yeah, man. All in all, just really impressive performance from Cueto. It was a blast from the past, and we're looking forward to getting more Giants baseball here. It's nice to see them play home for the first time and have fans, in over a year.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the whole NL West this episode.
Yeah, let's
talk about the Rockies. So I watched them play the Dodgers. Man, the Rockies, I don't know what everyone was saying that they've given up. And, I mean, it was us too. But when they traded Nolan Arenado, we thought they were going to eventually trade Trevor Story because they've still yet to pay him, which is a big deal. But they played a hell of a series against the Dodgers. They've been playing, good games. They've been playing solid. I originally thought they were going to be the last team in the NL West. It looks more like the Diamondbacks now. The Rockies look solid. That pitcher that they got in the Nolan Arenado trade, he pitched yesterday, and they took him out. I think he only gave up 1 run or something against the Giants. It was the Rockies aren't left for dead. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah, I feel like, it's early on in the season right now. We're at 7 to 8 games mostly throughout the league, but I feel like you kind of have a picture so far from the start of like where teams are in the NL West, and I would say it's definitely the Padres and the Dodgers. They're not getting touched right now. With Tatis out, we can't really see the full potential of that San Diego roster.
I do think that Jock Peterson and he went to Boston.
No, he went to Chicago.
No, the other guy.
Yeah.
God, I'm blanking on his name.
I am too. Wait, Kiki Hernandez.
Kike. So
Kike.
he's seeing like some of the other guys in the Dodgers lineup, they're still stacked to the gills, but those two guys are, I saw them lose to the Rockies. Like, the Rockies aren't bad, but they are not as powerful, and they do look like hungover. They do look like they have a strong World Series hangover. They barely won their ring ceremony game yesterday. They won 1-0. We're wearing all that ice. I guess it was too heavy for them, and it was I don't know what was going on out there. But without Justin Turner's homer in the 6th inning, they would have lost that game probably. They won 1-0. But excuse me.
Yeah, I really hope Tatis comes back from that injury.
He's coming back very soon. They only put him on the 10-day IL. So
I just hope that nothing, because we saw what happened with Yastrzemski. He got not the same kind of injury, but he got injured, and it seemed like it affected his game a little.
I don't know. I was using that as an excuse for the first. Unless I hear something from a Giants beat reporter, I don't see him wincing in pain when he swings. So I think it's mental right now with Yaz's slump. I don't think it's Tatis. I am worried about Tatis though, because he's had problem with dislocations in that shoulder since he was a rookie, and they said it was a partial tear of the rotator cuff or something like that, and it sounds like he could play through it, but it sounds like he could make it worse, So
especially with playing shortstop.
Yeah, he's a big, powerful guy. What is he, 6'3", 210 or something? Like he plays with power. He swings with power. He hurt himself on a swing. Like he swung and he followed all the way through. And he didn't even make contact. He didn't get hit. He just took a massive swing and he tore something. So I don't know. A partial tear of something in your shoulder. It sounds like he's going to play with it after 10 days, but like that sounds like it could get worse. So if they lose him, I know they're stacked, but I don't think they can win the World Series without Tatis.
There's no way they can. Yeah, and I just think, like to add to that, it's just not good for baseball. Missing one of those players, it's like the NBA.
The young star.
It's like having LeBron and KD out in the NBA. It's like we'll get into that NBA talk.
I actually think it's a bigger deal than that, because baseball was kind of falling out of favor, and him and Acuna, just those young stars have brought back some young fans to baseball.
Shohei Ohtani too.
Yeah. They're, when we were growing up, we had Albert Pujols, like that. It's like Albert Pujols getting hurt. No, but I mean when we were really young, that started with we grew up watching. I'm not talking about the latter, like Bonds and Griffey, and.
But you know what I mean,
like Pujols getting hurt. Imagine, but
like
I mean,
box office players that just like really draw attention.
But it's also young stars because they've brought in young fans to baseball. Baseball was dying, quote unquote. Like we're only one generation removed, but what about those kids that are 2 generations removed from the 90s and 80s baseball, where baseball was like huge, right? Baseball's been slowly losing fans. I mean, they've been winding up the ball. They've been trying to score more runs. They put a runner on second base in extra innings to speed up the game. They're doing everything
it's quite
to get
obvious.
their audience.
It's quite obvious that you bring up good points there. It's obvious that with the emergence of social media and how the internet works, People are less and less.
It's too slow. It's too slow.
Yeah,
we all live life in the
people need
fast lane.
overstimulation, man.
I know no one could just sit and chill and watch a baseball game anymore. It's kind of sad. It's kind of like a microcosm of our society, man. Not to get too into
Man,
that.
society's just not chill anymore.
Anxiety against society, man. All right, okay. Anyways, so we talked about the Rockies. I think the Rockies. We could Well, we talked about the Dodgers. We could go into the Padres. So the Padres yesterday, Musgrove, man, hometown, grew up in San Diego. He threw the first no-hitter in Padres history against the Texas Rangers in Arlington last night. 3-0. What did you see in that game? Besides, obviously, the no-hitter, but
man, I mean, just the statement right there says it all, man. First no-hitter in Padres history. That's just remarkable. The
Mets are now the only team that have not no-hit anyone in the history of baseball.
Struck out 10 guys. I believe they were very close. Didn't they? They had an error, right? And that's why they didn't get the. Oh no!
Perfect. They were. I think he had a walk, right?
No. Oh, he hit someone.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Because he didn't have any walks. It was very close to a perfect game.
HVP. Yeah.
Yeah, just a remarkable game, man, and it's awesome for the city of San Diego to experience that. We saw Tim Lincecum no-hit the Padres a couple times, so it's only fair that it makes its way around.
Yeah, but I just wanted, the Padres, I like the Padres a lot, always have. I just imagine, because they were showing, his photos with his sisters and his dad and his little, his Padres, jersey, and I'm like, just imagine that, growing up there. And
he's from San Diego.
I know,
Yeah.
Imagine growing up and throwing the first no-hitter in your franchise's history for the team that you grew up around and watched. Imagine, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like when Barry Bonds came back, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, because he grew up as a Giants fan. His dad played for the Giants, Willie. I mean, there were more connections there, but it kind of had that feeling. I was like, He said in his interview, I watched his interview, he's like, this is unreal right now. I can't even really, he was in shock. It was
it was remarkable.
Really cool, How can you not be romantic about baseball, man? Billy Beane.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Rangers thus far. They're kind of a mediocre team. But to no-hit a professional baseball team is something that not a lot of people could say they've done. And you got to tip your cap, man. I don't have one right now on me, but well played. Yeah.
So
Diamondbacks.
Padres. Yeah. So just last thoughts on the Padres. If Fernando Tatis comes back and he could, it doesn't look like he's laboring. I would take them over the Dodgers. Granted, we're 8 games in, but they look hungrier. The Dodgers look really hungover.
Fully healthy Padres, fully healthy Dodgers. Come playoff time, I think you're right.
I would still take the Padres in 7 though. I don't think they win in 6.
I would bet Snell to shut those guys out. I think he's going to come after those guys. He's going to bring it
in the 6th inning.
He's going to bring it, man. And that Dodgers lineup's not as potent as you alluded to earlier. Losing Jock Peterson and Kike Hernandez, those aren't slouches that they lost. Those are big.
Imagine
big
to have
producers.
A pinch hitter. Imagine to have a pinch hitter and your pinch hitter is Jock Peterson. That's the surplus and wealth of talent.
Just embarrassment of riches, man.
Imagine Jock Peterson is your pinch hitter. Yeah.
Oh no, they were. That was an all-star team last year. No doubt.
Yeah, they still now. If they didn't, I think I would kind of think they'd be going towards a collapse if they didn't get Mookie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Trevor Bauer would have came over. If Mookie didn't if he didn't see, because their whole roster's aging, right? Except for they got Mookie, so they got he's their next young star. He's going to be the face of the franchise once Kershaw retires, right? So,
yeah.
I think getting Mookie was Boston. You're a bunch of idiots. No offense. I don't know how you let Mookie get away for nothing.
Well, they got Kike Hernandez, so I mean, it balanced out a little bit. Not really.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. So, anyways, we'll talk about the Diamondbacks now. So yeah, the Diamondbacks, their pitching hasn't been great and their hitting hasn't been great. So, what do you think about the Diamondbacks right now?
I think they got fooled by signing Mad Bomb, and as much as I love Bumgarner and what he did for the Giants organization, greatest postseason performance of all time. They overpaid for him quite a bit, and his ERA is just ridiculous. It seems like every time he's out on the mound, you should bet the over on the opposing team runs because he just doesn't have that whip in it anymore. And I don't know.
Throwing 92 average, I think. That's his average right now.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen a quality start from him on the Diamondbacks.
And like his ace pitch was his high velocity, he'd make you climb the ladder, his high fastball. But when it's going 92, man, it kind of, you could catch up to that and crush it, You could crush a high fastball if it's going 92. So he can't reach back, and he doesn't have that 97-mile-an-hour fastball that he could throw to strike a guy out anymore. So it's rough. I think that's why velocity, he was a guy that really depended on his fastball. Kershaw has some other pitches. Kershaw's pitch is his slider. We all know that. So Bumgarner's pitch, though, was his fastball. And, when you're a fastball pitcher and you lose the velocity on your fastball, you're kind of screwed, So.
And we see in a lot of players that have, long careers, it's all about making that adjustment when you don't have that velocity.
Right? Adapt, right? But he hasn't worked on his other pitches as much, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. That was a great point.
Yeah, no, thanks. You're good, bro. I just like careers like Greg Maddux. Like that's probably the one that sticks out the most. I know it was a while ago, but
legend.
Like his ability to come in and change his whole where he was coming. Like he was a starter, then he was in the bullpen, and just how much he was able to just control those pitches. Like if you have good control, man, it doesn't matter how fast you throw it. If you can put the pitch that you want and have several pitches that you can control at a high level, it just that's kind of what players like Bumgarner should try and aim for, and I'm sure they are, but it's just
but that's a great point that you allude to there, though. But I don't think it's kind of like, what it's comparable to? It's kind of like Melo before he admitted that he's a role player, right? You're still trying to be that starter. Bumgarner's still trying to throw fast, and it might be, I don't know exactly. I don't watch them every day, but it might, guys like trying to be what they were, I feel like, that probably hurts their accuracy, them trying to keep throwing harder. Like,
accept your role, man.
Yeah, I know, but that's hard to do when you've been Bumgarner is one of the best World Series pitchers ever.
I think his
Carmelo Anthony, was an MVP, man. He had years of averaging 27 a game. Like, it's hard to do that, but the guys that are self-aware that can do that are really the great ones that can play for freaking 18 years, like Maddux. I don't know how long he played, but long time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just making that adjustment and accepting what you are and embracing it.
You got to swallow a lot of pride, and a lot of guys can't do that.
Definitely. Yeah, Maddux had a very long career. He played 23 years. That was kind of
oh shit.
That was kind of why
18 was low. Lowballed him. Sorry, Greg.
No, yeah.
Lowballed him there.
He had a very long career and obviously one of the best pitchers of all time, so I can't compare every guy to him, but if there's someone to compare to, just his ability to just master control, man.
Yeah.
Control can beat power if you can master it. So.
Yeah,
How to
definitely.
bring up the OG there. Anything else? So Diamondbacks, back onto the Diamondbacks. Their hitting has been kind of lackluster. Their starting
They
pitching.
they came in the yeah, so they came in the clutch last night that they tied it up, but it's really been, they can't get consistency. It's like too little, too late. Like I've seen a couple games where they've lost by a couple runs. They score at the end of the game. It's the bats are silent at the start of the game, and they give up a lot of runs at the start, and they dig themselves in giant holes that it's hard to come out of. That's about what I could say about the Diamondbacks.
Just one last thing on Bumgarner, and I know it's because we're Giants fans and we talk about him. We're interested about
Well,
him.
we're on the Diamondbacks, so you could
Yeah, I
on
kind
the
of feel
Diamondbacks.
like the whole Diamondbacks signing, like personally, I just not that I like like it's a rival, but like I just felt like not only was that a dumb move by the Diamondbacks, that was a dumb move for him. I know it was the right situation and money, and he likes Arizona. He's got his horses and stuff, but like for like baseball purposes, I felt like the Diamondbacks, they lost Goldschmidt. They haven't really been that dominant of a team in this division for, maybe over 10 years now. Definitely.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to see Bum go to like a team like even I know it's not his vibe, like the Yankees. I know it's totally not his vibe. I know he wouldn't want to join a team like that, but
He's a country boy. He doesn't like that big city life.
maybe the Braves, man. Like I just
The Braves, that's a thought.
I wanted to see him on a playoff team because I knew the Diamondbacks. What are they, third at best in this division? It's like if you really got to swing for the fences in the
No,
NL
they're
West.
last. They're last, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's their ceiling. If they
Oh yeah,
if they
yeah.
play their best, they're not gonna ever beat the Padres or the Dodgers. So
No, no.
you got to
The
rebuild, man. You just got to swallow it and just rebuild. That's what the Giants are doing. The Rockies, I don't know what they're doing, but
I think when that whole thing went down, I think two sides of it. The Diamondbacks were lying to themselves, and they weren't ready to tell their fan base that they were rebuilding. So they went out and got a big name. Bumgarner was the biggest name that offseason. They're like, this guy. It's like when the Giants got Samardzija. It's like we just got a big name to keep our fan base to be quiet and keep them at bay, so they're not calling for the heads of the management, right?
yeah,
And I think Bumgarner, thought, the Dodgers, I think they were paying it, like, gave him $20 more million or something than the Giants were willing to pay. And by far, were paid him more than anyone else was going to pay. And I think he's like, this is my last ride. This is my vacation home. People like vacationing in Florida and Arizona. Well, that's what he's doing right now.
no, I know
It wasn't
It wasn't a baseball decision.
No. Well, I mean, you got 3 World Series rings. You're arguably one of the best World Series pitchers ever. I think he's fine with his career, and he was just chill, and he was just, just trying to get that money.
It was a life choice, not a career choice.
Yeah, but I mean, he has 3 rings, so
I get it.
You could do that when you have all those rings,
I guess I just wanted to see him in the playoffs one more time, and I just don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. So, way too early. We're going to do this every time we talk about the NLS. So, as of right now, how do you see the NLS shaping up? Do all 5 teams?
Yeah, right now, just with Tatis out, I know he's coming back in 10 days.
I'm saying for the rest of the season. We're going to keep changing.
Rest of the season, I might have to take the Padres.
Every week we're going to be jumping around on this.
Yeah, so. I might take Padres. Their third pitcher in their lineup, Musgrove, who I've been pretty high on, just got a no-hitter, right? So, and Blake Snell can really pitch. Their bullpen's good. I like the Padres at 1, Dodgers 2. You can't take the Dodgers out of the top 2, right? Giants are 3.
No.
Giants could fix their bullpen and they'd be an interesting team. I don't think they would surpass the Dodgers or the Padres, but I think they could win 80-plus games.
Gotta give them. They won the Padres series 2-1.
Yeah, man. That.
Granted, Tatis got hurt, but go ahead. Sorry. So
no, you're right.
So you said Padres, Dodgers. What are your Giants?
And then Rockies, Diamondbacks, man.
Okay, I'd have to agree. I would say that is my rankings right now too.
I think we're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Padres Dodgers pitching staffs are a wash, and I just think that I think that the Padres are hungrier. I think it's talent-wise, the team's about the same, but the Padres, the Dodgers have looked flat. Anyway, so
San Diego is like the Dodgers' like little brother, you know. Like San Diego is always when you look at LA and then San Diego, you know, and it's just like that city's hungry, man. You could tell, man. They don't have any other professional teams. The Chargers are gone. The Clippers have been gone for 20 years. The Padres are their team, man, and they're hungry.
Yeah. I agree, and I think the Dodgers, there's so many years of failing and then getting to the World Series. I don't think they're in the headspace of let's run it back. Let's get another. I think they're at like the relief point because they failed so many times to win it. You know, I think it's a relief when they get that one. I don't think it's, oh, let's get greedy now. You know, like the Warriors won on their first try. You know, let's get greedy now. You know, I think it's a relief that I know Kershaw sure as hell. A lot of relief. He looks, man, he was smiling all 32 teeth, man, with that ring, man. That was wild. It's like, wow, he finally got that. So I think the Padres are much hungrier, yeah. So, all right, well, that's about it for the NL West.
Yeah, man.
And baseball. Do you want to talk about, two basketball matchups? Or?
Yeah, so quickly get into basketball. We're kind of on a little break from the NBA, but once the playoffs.
Do you want to quickly go over the national championship game? We didn't do that.
Let's do NBA and then let's close national championship.
Okay, cool, and then we'll be done. Got it.
Yeah.
With it.
So the Lakers Nets tonight. The Lakers are without LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yep.
And the Nets are without Kevin Durant.
I was gonna say he doesn't play on back-to-backs probably.
Yeah, the Lakers are underdogs by 10.5 points, and it'll be interesting to see this potential finals preview. I know there's players missing on both sides, but
so is Harden still out?
I believe Harden's in there. Let me double check.
Harden didn't play last game, I don't think. And when the game KD came back, like he didn't.
According to Bleacher Report, so Braun and James, or AD and James are out. Harden's out. Oh wow!
I knew it. See, I told you. We were talking about this earlier. This is why I told you it's going to be closer than you think.
Wow. So it might just be Kyrie. Is KD out? It doesn't say KD's out.
Is he? If KD's playing, it's.
I think he might be playing.
Okay. Well, if they don't say he's out, he's playing.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. This literally is the entire matchup, whether he's playing.
Yeah. It says.
Oh, it's not a back-to-back. Sorry, they played Thursday.
Yeah, he's playing.
So he should play, right?
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah. So, or actually, they played Wednesday. He's had a couple days off. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
So he had 17 points in his return on Wednesday. They scored 139 points on the Pelicans. Granted, the Pelicans are a real run team, you know?
Yeah.
That's in the Pelicans' DNA. I think the Lakers, in their undermanned squad, I think they're going to do what the Lakers always do. They're going to try to slow down the tempo and limit the amount of possessions in the entire game, to have a freaking shot, right? So I would take the Nets to cover though, because when your best player out, I mean they got Drummond and they have gotten Drummond, and they got who's the German guy?
Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder's out there too. So
the Lakers are in an interesting spot right now. they're only a game and a half ahead of the Trailblazers at the 5 seed. If the playoffs were to start today, the Lakers would be facing the Denver Nuggets, who've won 8 in a row.
Yeah, since they got Aaron Gordon.
So
or no, they're 6-0 since they got Aaron Gordon.
I don't think that when AD and LeBron, let's say AD and LeBron are back, they're healthy, and they're playing. I don't think the Nuggets are going to lose, or I don't think the Nuggets are going to beat the Lakers. Sorry, but I do think that series could go maybe 6 to 7 games.
I don't think they care what seed they get. They're in the playoffs mode. That they don't care about the regular season. If they both come back fully healthy, then so what? Whatever seed they are, So
man, that's the thing about the NBA, man. If your team is good enough, you'll make the playoffs, and everyone's gonna have their eyes on you,
Yeah, it kind of makes the NBA season has got more and more kind of obsolete. It's kind of useless. We don't really get anything out of the NBA season.
The premium content is all in the
the playoffs. So it's
it's fun. You know what? I like October, and I know this year was weird. It started in December, but I like the first few months, and then when March rolls around, I'm just like
the dog days. Yeah,
I'm just like, dude, just freaking bring on the playoffs, man. I'm ready.
Yeah. And I'm not going to get into this a lot, but it's also kind of whack how so many players don't play a quarter of the season, like Kawhi or these other guys, and people are paying money to go and watch them. That's why I appreciate Steph Curry so much, because unless he's hurt, he's always out there, and he's always going to put on a show for his fans, in the league.
Yeah, you got to respect that kind of play.
Yeah, so I think the Lakers don't really give a crap if. I am a little alarmed that KD seemed to come back all right from his sketchy injury, but AD, man, we haven't heard anything about him in 3 weeks.
Yeah, man, it's been quiet over there from Laker Report.
It's a little sus when things are quiet, right? So I hope
we know right. Better than anyone.
Yeah, so
I see that, babe.
They'll come back healthy. They'll be fine. I would take KD and Kyrie. KD must be on a minutes restriction though, right? He's got to be. He's got to be coming back.
I think Lakers can cover 10.5.
With KD on a minutes restriction, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I just want to see how many minutes is he restricted to, because that, with KD on the floor, they're not going to be able to do anything. Yeah, I can't find exactly how. Do you see it anywhere or no?
No.
Okay, he's definitely on a minutes restriction. He was out a month, man. Wait, Jefferson, KD, get out of here. I don't know. He's definitely on a minutes restriction because he was out so long. But yeah. Okay, so about 30 minutes a game or something, or 25.
I'll take the Lakers 10.5.
Yeah. What's the over under? I'm just curious.
I think it was 237. 221. Sorry. A lot of people are betting the under.
Oh, so. Yeah, so if you think it's going to be the under, you probably think the Lakers are going to cover, right? Because the Nets have the worst defense in the league, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we would do both then. We do the under and or no, you don't want to do that.
My picks have been ice cold lately, people. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't take too much stock into this pick, but if it is the under, the Lakers are going to cover, and they. Mucked up the game, right? And KD is on a minutes restriction, so that's a big deal. And I think when KD's off the floor, they're going to be able to, even with KD on the floor, man, Drummond's going to eat against this team. This is a small, short team. I think Drummond's a big deal.
Drummond's going to eat on DeAndre.
DeAndre. I don't even act like DeAndre's there. People act like, oh, he's an all-star still. No, DeAndre's washed, okay? I don't want to hear this crap anymore. DeAndre no longer has a 43-inch vertical. I apologize.
Is he Bumgarner washed?
He's more washed than that. Bumgarner isn't even that washed. DeAndre Jordan is barely... Well, what made DeAndre Jordan such a good center? His athleticism. He doesn't shoot well. He doesn't shoot the free throw well. Even Dwight Howard has improved his free throw percentage. Who has not? DeAndre Jordan. So Drummond is going to feast on his corpse tonight. Sorry. Got a little real there. But, I kind of get sick people saying, I don't think Blake is washed, but people putting DeAndre Jordan in Blake's category, like I don't agree with that. So anyway, sorry.
Let's talk Rockets Warriors, and then we'll
take the Lakers. The Lakers covering 10.5, right? Or 9.5.
Yeah, and the under.
And the under. So that's for the Lakers Nets game. So the Rockets played the Warriors lost a really tough one against the Wizards last night. So I do think they're going to be coming out with something to prove. The Rockets got crushed again. They're back on their back skid. I think what is it, 8.5 right now?
Yeah.
You think the Warriors will cover that?
I'd take the Warriors on that.
Yeah, same.
I don't mess with the over/under though.
I kind of think the over is going to hit because they're both so bad at defense right now.
All right, so over 227.
Oh, they think there's going to be a lot. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of points. The Warriors' defense has been trashed the last 3 weeks, and the Rockets play no defense at all. So there you go.
You love to see it, Dean. You absolutely love to see it.
The Wizards, it was an ugly game, but it was literally like no defense being played at all. And it's kind of fun watching that for a little bit, but it's going to be more of the same tonight. If you watch the Wizards-Warriors game where there was no defense being played, it's going to be more of the same. So I think the Warriors will cover that, and I think the over will hit.
All right, so let's get into the NCAA championship game. We got to recap that. Our picks didn't pan out as well as I thought,
no.
But the better team definitely won. Baylor cruised past Gonzaga with little to no bumps in the road there. What were your thoughts on that game, just closing that out?
Well, the Baylor's defense was suffocating. They probably have 4 guys that could be drafted, which is saying something in basketball. Davian Mitchell is going to go top 10. Butler, the other guard, I don't know where he's going to go, but he surely is going to get drafted in the first round. He was the player of the tournament, by the way, Butler. He got the player of the tournament, the award.
Yeah, he was a baller.
The Baylor's 3 just started hitting at the perfect time. During this, we were all waiting for it. I kept saying it, man. They shot 42% or 41.8 or whatever it was as a team during the season, the highest in the country. And the first 3 or 4 games of the tournament, they were beating teams convincingly, and the 3-ball had yet to fall for them. So the last 2 games, man, they shot. Eventually they were going to start hitting them. So they shot like 40% or more, over 40% for their last 2 games. And man, Gonzaga was just completely overmatched.
The better team definitely won. And Dean, just to add to what you're saying there with their 3-point ability and their defensive prowess.
Yeah.
It was just remarkable. I know UCLA had a really close game with Gonzaga. I don't really take too much into that. I know some people are saying that had Gonzaga tired. I don't really buy that. I think the better team won, and it was just really remarkable to see Baylor just make Gonzaga look bad.
I do think that winning a game like that is emotional and makes you tired. I do agree, but not to the extent the better team won the game. Like, I'm not going to say Gonzaga was the better team because they weren't. So people that say that Gonzaga was the better team and they lost because of that, I don't agree with. But that wasn't nothing, is what I'm trying to say.
No, there's things there. I just don't like that excuse being thrown out. We were so used to seeing Gonzaga dominate this year, and it was just really crazy to see them look normal. I know Suggs.
Pedestrian. They look pedestrian out there.
Man, yeah. I mean, Suggs and Timmy can't do it all by themselves. And Suggs looked pretty bad in that first half.
The one thing that I didn't get, the big problem was, like, I thought they should have kept feeding Timmy in the post because they got, in the first half, they got all of the Baylor's big men in foul trouble. Yeah. And, I know what happened was Gonzaga started panicking because the 3-ball, they just kept it, if they would score 2 points, Baylor would score 3. And that starts adding up when that keeps happening, and they started panicking, right? And that's when the turnovers and the transition points, and they were getting dunks. Baylor was getting the 4 or 5 turnovers at the half court, like bringing the ball up. I think that was the game. That crushed them. I mean, the 3-ball, is the obvious thing, but the points off of turnovers that Baylor was getting because Gonzaga started panicking, that was a big thing.
I mean, dude, just looking at that turnover was huge, Dean.
Yeah.
And then looking at just the statistics here, Gonzaga took a lot more field goals from inside the 3-point line, but the 3-point percentage really stands out. 5 of 17, 29% Gonzaga. 10 of 23, Baylor, 43%. Most of the game they're at 50.
43. Yeah, they were at 55 for like the entire game until the last 8 minutes.
So turnovers, Baylor had 7, double that. Gonzaga 14.
What were the points off of turnovers, though? They must have had almost 20, Baylor.
I feel like they hit a lot of threes, man. A lot of their threes came off the turnovers.
The transition threes, yeah, because no one was back. It was the 3-on-2. And they'd freaking fire 3. Yeah, it was.
And then the steals, the blocks, just the entire stat sheet. If you're looking at the stat sheet without knowing like what the points correlate to,
yeah,
like just looking at turnovers, just steals, blocks, and all that, field goal percentage. It's just obvious that it was just a one-sided matchup, man.
It was kind of the same thing as when they played Houston. It was over in the first half, right? Gonzaga and Houston both played much better in the second half. I think Gonzaga, which is kind of shocking because they played such a tight game with UCLA, they were so stunned at what happened in the first after the first 3 minutes. The other 17, Baylor just laid it on, and they looked like, what the hell is going on right now?
I think if UCLA made it there, I think it would have been maybe even worse. I don't think any team could have beaten Baylor this year.
No, Baylor was the best team. Baylor was too deep. They had 7 or 8 guys that could shot 40% for 3. That's insane for college basketball. That's nuts. Man, there's some freaking Bulldogs out there on defense. They were they could not move the ball at all.
I know.
Like it was some lockdown defense, and the better team won, and it was cool. It would have been cool that they picked the perfect season, but at least either way, it was Baylor's first championship in school history, and it would have been Gonzaga's if they won. So it was cool that Baylor won because Baylor, has let us down a lot in the past. We put money on them and picked them for our March Madness. I think they showed an interview of their coach in 2003 saying, we're going to bring a championship here after their team went like 5-20 or something. And it took him 18 years, but man, he got him a damn championship first in school history. And that's impressive. And I think he's built a great nucleus of guys. I think they're going to be good for a while. I don't think they're one and done, Like they got a bunch of transfers. You know how Reno a couple of years ago had a bunch of transfers and that was it? I think Baylor's here to stay now. I think they're going to be at the top of the Big 12, with Kansas and, Oklahoma. So
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely well deserved. The better team won. Baylor, we're looking at you guys for next year, and we're not going to have any biases from now on.
Did you? Yes. Take that to heart there, pal. Did you see the Jay Bilas's two early rankings for next year?
No.
UCLA is number 1.
Really?
Do you think UCLA is back now? I think UCLA is back. Going back to the days of Caleb and Russ.
Is Juzang playing?
He's going to get drafted. No way. Not after that. No way in hell. No. And he's a sophomore. So, but if UCLA, just getting onto that stage, I think helps their commits. I think some guys are going to be like, oh, UCLA, because UCLA has everything going for it. It's in Los Angeles. They have a great history, but they've been bad the last 10 years,
Yeah.
So I think it's going to create a rush. They're a tough defensive team. I think, man, they could be. I mean, this is really early, but I see them as a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed next year. They're keeping a lot of those guys. Juzang's going to leave, but I think they're going to get a lot of guys in their upcoming recruiting class.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll be looking out for UCLA on the West Coast.
Yep.
Well, hey, I think that kind of wraps it up. I believe both of us have a baseball game to watch, and
yeah,
all in all, good show, man. And I look forward to talking to you on Monday.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. Sorry for not getting off the show yesterday, guys.
That was my bad. Life stuff.
No blame. Life stuff, man. So yeah, we'll be talking baseball again. We'll probably jump back into the NFL draft.
In a couple weeks.
We might talk about it on Monday.
If there's any advancements, yes.
Yeah. I would like to talk about maybe the later picks, not the top 3. But yeah, that's about it. Hope if you guys are baseball fans, there's still a lot of baseball left for the rest of the day. So we'll be on that wave. But thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. See you guys later.
R.I.P. DMX.
R.I.P. DMX. Yeah.